Okay, that's my theory at the moment. And that about wraps it up here. Miss Han, since Cyanus is technically in charge of securing the crime scene, what should we do with this? Do with what? Weird picture. Adone, please refrain from pressing that button any more than necessary. Oh! Sorry, that weird picture was because she reacted to it being pressed because she has mods. Anyone suitably modded would get it. Ha! And what's his name? Sasuke didn't because he was unconscious. Ha! Adone, please refrain from pressing that button any more than necessary. Sorry, Sarah, I can see you don't like it. But Miss Han's phone doesn't seem to like it either. Oh, okay, it was her phone. Right, yes, it was the phone, and it was the alert. Yep, so that's how Rogers found out. Sorry, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole assuming it was because of the mods. It's just Han. And I don't know what you're talking about. I get messages all the time. The little smile on Morgan's face. Han, Ma'am, if you could please just admit it so she stops pressing that. Fine, whatever. Yes, you found one of our alarms. Pretty clever system. Not really, it's just an app. You set the frequency and get a notif if the app picks it up. The range? Couple of kilometers. Thanks for clearing that up. While I have you here, though, exactly how fast did you show up to the scene of the crime? Pardon? This is a blue blood neighborhood. Do you really expect people to believe the cops lumbered their way here faster than any of you could? What exactly are you trying to say? Yeah, I'm tuned to that frequency. But I'm tuned to a lot of frequencies. It's a good way of communicating without the Megs or the pigs listening in. So you didn't get this alarm the night of the incident? Didn't even know it went off that night. You got proof it did? Can you explain how else Officer Chopin could have gotten here? Nah, not my job to either. Is it your job to come to a fellow Blue Blood's aid when they're desperately calling for help? I didn't know Creek like that. I didn't say Creek was the one who had this. Yeah, but it was heavily implied. Come on, that's not a gotcha. I saw where you were poking around and they're the head of the... Oh, I see. Right, no. Yeah, she's saying she didn't say it was Creek who had the alarm. It could have been, theoretically any of them in the building. But yeah, she specifically called out Creek. I saw you were poking around and they're the head of the pod, I assumed. Creek's a stranger to me. Even though you're both young bloods. What? I'm guessing that's what the tattoo means. Neither of you made much effort to hide it. It is plainly visible even in their autopsy photos. You have no idea what this ink means. Would you tell us what it means? Blood bag. What? The old guard used you as donors. Ooh, that's a cool look. Gangsters live a life of drugs, smoking, drinking, and back alley mods. And end up with livers and kidneys that look like charred steak. Who could have guessed? Got no children because the Ikaria killed them all. Can't get on that donor list because they're geriatric, reviled crime lords. So, what do? Hey kid, wanna be a gangster? Let me see if you got what it takes. Ha! Ha! Do I know what blood type she is? I think I do. I think she's like O negative. Yeah, O negative. Interesting. Interesting. He's also O negative. Oh yeah, he's got the things on his neck. What about any of the others? Not visible. No sign, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's a drug user. No sign either. Interesting. Hey kid, wanna be a gangster? Let me see if you've got what it takes. Hold still while I prick your finger. They tattooed our torsos because even if you mod off all 4 limbs, they can still pump clean plasma. Every drop an indicator of quality. I'm a universal donor, so I got all 3. AAA graded, just like meat. And Creek? Save it for the trial, lady. I guess what that says... maybe not. One possible interpretation of why her and Creek both have that, because she's a higher position than Creek, is it could imply, hey, the Old Bloods know who he is. But, that's already implied by him having the mask. But I suppose if you're trying to prove it in court, you don't want to mention the mask. Are we done here, you think? Not quite. Emma's argument is that Sasuke didn't escape from here. He was brought out into the other room to be questioned and then broke free. I know that's not true. Sasuke would have been stuck here until the police arrived if I hadn't handed him the Mag US to, frame him. And the knife, also to frame him. But secondarily so that he could cut himself free from his bindings. Those bloody rags there? Remember what Sasuke told us when we first met? That he was bound in here the whole time until his bad Samaritan came along and gave him a knife. Now we know what knife he was talking about. And now I want to know whose blood this is. The blood on the bindings? It would have to belong to Sasuke, wouldn't it? All the other bodily fluids in this room do. Probably. But I need to know. Oh, she's going to ask her to lick the bloody bandage. Oh. You've already done it once. What's one more time? One more time will surely make me sick. Please, Adone, let's ask one of the Cyanus employees on standby to analyze it. They have a record for very fast turnaround on DNA tests, I promise. I can show you customer reviews. That's right, Cyanus does DNA testing. Typically paternity tests as part of their private investigative services. But they have been assisting the police with DNA analysis around the scene. I will flag the bindings to be analysed. Wait. I have already made the request, Adone. If you insist on making me test the bindings myself now, you will only be upsetting my stomach to satisfy your own impatience. Fine. But I'm going to cite this incident the next time we discuss a raise. Oh. Oh. Really is a shithole in here though, huh? I agree with your sentiment, if not your choice of words. It feels like a cruel place. What is it? Was there something we missed in here, Adone? No, not in here. The windows. They were closed when Creek was shot. Still closed when Chopin and Rogers arrived on site. Oh, right, on site, yes. But they were open by the time Rogers got to this room. Yeah, because the huntsman came in. I think... Alright. There's the possibility that the huntsman was, like, hiding in one of the downstairs rooms, but I don't believe it. Like, the one unlocked room, you know? It seems so unlikely. I use that contradiction to argue for the presence of a third party. Because someone must have opened them. To go down the fire escape. And then what? They must have dropped down to the alley and run away, right? Yeah. That's one option. What's the other? Would it kill them to do some sweeping around here? I guess that would be contaminating the crime scene at this point. But then what the hell do all these cops and Cyanus chumps actually do? Lean on walls and screw around on their phones? I think you're being a bit harsh in your assessment. But you aren't alone in your criticism. Detective Reyes had much to say about how Cyanus employees were not wearing gloves and knocking over trash. If they had picked up trash, that'd be removing evidence. Arcs would light up. Adding trash, though... Adone? Help me look through this. Garbage again? Already? Just start looking. If any of it requires DNA analysis. Wait, there. Red. I don't smell any blood. Not blood. Ink. Huh. Cyanus. It's got the Cyanus-like logo on it. Or the Blue Blood logo. A torn page of the red ink documents. With what looks like a shoe print on it. Shall we try and match it to samples? Good luck. Cops and security types all wear the same kind of boots. On top of which, 99 out of 100 shoes in the city are made by the same two megs. But if the print isn't useful, that just leaves the actual text, and that... Looks like the letters were all run through a wash a couple dozen too many times. Well, if it isn't particularly informative, and I don't understand how this clue fits in with everything else we've seen, but doesn't this seem important? A scrap of red ink document with a common type of boot print left on it, rediscovered from the room directly below the crime scene, was missed or disregarded by previous sweeps that dismissed it as trash. Having been exposed to natural humidity for some time, the red ink is already illegible. How could it have been lying here neglected this whole time? Nah, Princess, I'll have to call you right back. Of course, wouldn't dream of it. Come on, you know me. What'd you find there? Some more dead men's garbage? Keep it up and you girls are going to make me look bad. Happy to be of assistance. So would you like to add this to the arcs or should I? Well, it seems like you've got momentum going, so please don't let me get in your way. You don't wear gloves on the job, Miss Han? It's just Han, but you already know that. You probably also know that they don't really make them in my size. So we found your fingerprints in here on those windows or even upstairs. Oh man, I'd be pretty embarrassed. We almost always get rated 5 stars. So did you need me to walk you out? I'll be fine, thanks. Suit yourself. Just be careful you don't get lost. Sun will be going down soon. Can be hard to find your way back in the dark. Wow, Morgan has really pissed her off. Yeah, okay. This idea is starting to look like a pretty safe bet. Your theory that Chopin was assassinated is an attack on the Old Guard? But how can we confirm it? We still haven't met anyone from the Old Guard. I don't know how any of this is playing into that theory. Also, that symbol in the top right. Like, I know that symbol from bloody Binding of Isaac. Anyway, yeah, I don't understand how any of this is actually playing into that theory at all. I'm still absolutely convinced at this point that Sasuke is the Little Lord, and that Chopin's death was a coincidence being orchestrated by Rogers. Though even if we had, it occurs to me that they would be reluctant to speak with Sasuke Akaria's legal team. Don't be so pessimistic. The enemy of my enemy is usually willing to at least talk. And talk is where I do my best work. Where do we look then? You still got the address boss gave us? 6:06 p.m. Blue Blood territory. Hey there, tall, red and mysterious. Ladies, please come in. Don't be shy. Let me guide you to a booth. Why is she loving this so much? Local host. Should we take a seat for now? With taste as expensive as yours? If you get near a menu, these people will drain my checking account on overpriced champagne faster than I can blink. Oh, champagne. As much as you'd like. This is going to derail fast if I don't find a way to shut it down. A surefire way to get exactly the right kind of attention and douse their salesmanship in one go. I'll need to go with that. Hey, please don't frown. A smile would suit your pretty face much. I need to speak with your manager. Ch. What happened? They're all walking away. Hey, mama. Yeah, Yeah, some kind of, I don't know, accountant or whatever here to talk to you? The voice on the other end of his earpiece grumbles a response. A cranky one, judging by his reaction. Mama will be out in a second. You're expected to buy something in the meantime. You got tap water? You don't want to drink the tap water in this district. Soda water? Yeah, it's all overpriced, lady. May as well get something you'll enjoy. I thought my first visit to a host club would be more celebratory than this. How much thought have you given the subject? Ooh. Read! What kind of light reading gets tossed around a club like this? Probably something along the lines of, I spent every night at a host club for 1 year. Ask me anything. Here's what staff told me about emotional workloads in corporate settings. Oh wait, this actually looks somewhat interesting. Fungus stymies bamboo stokes unrest. Oh yeah, because everyone looks at fungus stymieing bamboo and goes, well, that's fascinating. I'm not entirely sure how this is important. Maybe it's just world building? Basically, it says that bamboo has replaced, like, wood in most construction when they can't afford, like, synthetic alternatives. And it's even replaced cash crops in certain places that can't make soy, sugar, or wheat. But because of this fungus which grows so quickly you can see it growing with the naked eye, it's like hazardous to health. And they try and burn it away, but that's also hazardous to health. But they won't provide masks because masks are a political symbol from a rebellion decades ago. And that they're worried about the sort of the young population potentially using it as a symbol, with Ramsay syndrome remaining a serious concern. I'm not sure if that's a real thing. Not the reading material I expected to find here. But judging from the article, the Megs are getting concerned about growing unrest. Fungus is a problem, sure, but they've engineered their crops around problems like it 100 times before. Easier to update the monoculture genetics than your entire global economic model. The Megs are probably more concerned about all the young people getting agitated about their job security. The warmer the waters, the bigger the storms they brew. Let's go left to right. Order? No. Check. Have you ever been to an establishment like this before? No. Not even when you were apprenticing? There have been many certain work parties where attendance was strongly encouraged, but I'd never set foot within a kilometre of a place like this otherwise. I suppose if you had a hard spending limit, there's only so much you can enjoy. And it's not a matter of cost. It's a matter of taste. Surely everyone enjoys being paid attention, no? It's flattering. Not everyone takes to being complimented. I see, so you respond more to being challenged. What do you think? Perhaps not. Observe? Bad enough that I'm walking into the lion's den here, stepping even further into blue blood territory to defend an Icaria assassin. Do I really have to wait for the shoe to drop in a place this sleazy too? Are you perhaps not enjoying yourself, Adone? You're getting better at picking up on that. You are frowning quite openly. Are we in danger of getting arrested here? There's nothing illegal about a host club. Right, let's find out what this is. Okay. It turns out a host club is not a brothel. I assumed it was just like a sanitized term for a brothel, basically, but it is not. Like, it is even specifically saying that, like, even though brothels and sex work have been decriminalized more and more, and it is it's not uncommon for staff at one to switch sides to the other. They are not the same thing. They are just a place where you go and, as Sarah was saying, you'll get given attention, and you pay for the expensive drinks and stuff, and other services, but you go there to talk to the people. And I love this term, that it's a reputation as a kind of social gym where young adults can exercise their social skills in a low-risk environment. Fascinating, like, examination of how society can change. There's nothing illegal about a host club. So are you just uncomfortable then? unamused. Order? Do you think they were being literal when they said you're expected to make a purchase? Probably. Doesn't mean I'll oblige them. Though it's not like spending money here will make them less likely to cooperate. I would offer some suggestions based on customer reviews and price points, but for some reason I don't see prices listed on any of the items on their menu. Was a mistake made when formatting the data? I really hate this place. Beer, wine, champagne, or forget it. I mean, Morgan doesn't seem like any of those. I think I'm going to go with wine because it might open doors. I'll have a glass of the house red. The bartender raises his brow before nodding. When they finish pouring, I'm left with a thin-necked glass of lightly bubbling crimson, and the unshakable feeling that a hole's been bored into my wallet. Candy red. Is that good? Most red wines are darker than that. And most red wines also smell more. You're telling me I just bought a glass of food dye and vodka or something? Possibly. But you wouldn't be the only one to do so looking around the room. When in Rome is pretty shitty logic when Rome happens to be burning cash all around you. I mean, to be honest, I've never liked the term when in Rome anyway. Mama on deck. The big cheese. What exactly are you expecting? With a title like Mama, I would expect a stern but fair nurturing figure who... What the hell do you want? Is that how you greet a paying customer? That your wine glass? The one that hasn't been touched? I believe she is letting it breathe. Thanks for the patronage, but you ain't a customer. You're a lawyer defending the hound. You came here for information, not swill. And you came out to speak with me anyway. I take it that means you're willing to talk? Was my mouth flapping not a clear enough sign? Introductions then. I'm Morgan Esquire, criminal defence attorney representing Saskia Karya. With a glowing green toaster as your +1. Couldn't have put it better myself, Miss Kim Hannah, small business owner. AB positive, just mentioning that. Weight, blank. Occupation, small business owner in massive inverted commas, likes persimmon handbags and joint cracking, dislikes part-timers, binge watchers, and ad vandalism. Hidden talent, can slice an onion paper thin in 11 seconds, relaxes by shooting clay pigeons, promote from within. And one of the more influential members of the Blue Blood Old Guard, I take it. The Old Guard are the only Blue Bloods that have any influence at all. First gens of young bloods should count themselves lucky to be middle management. Should you really be calling them young bloods? Oh, now the neon robot's going to preach to us all about political correctness. Okay, I am glad we have... This is, alright, mixed things here. I'm glad we finally encountered a character who isn't being polite to Sarah. At the same time, fuck you for not being polite to Sarah. But I just want to mention that, you know, this does create more of a contrast and show that the characters who are nice to Sarah and treat her like a person, neither Kim nor Han did treat Sarah like a person. Really, madam? I know PC. My gen invented PC. We got PC coming out of our ears. So I mean it when I say youngblood is a term of endearment. Well then, I won't hesitate to use it. To their face, better not, they'll knock your teeth out. How about a trade, Miss Kim? Mrs., you're talking to a widow. One who doesn't need anything from you, not the best position to start bargaining from. We're trading information. If you think I can't give you anything, you're not thinking very hard. Oh yeah, what do you think you got? Something I can tell her she doesn't already know? Creek's killer, Bresson's fate, Little Lord ID. Definitely not. She'll definitely know Bresson's fate. It'll have been all over the news. I don't like any of these options, because one, she will already know. One, I'm fairly certain that Morgan is wrong. And the other one, I feel like I shouldn't say. I am curious what she'll say to this one, so I'm going to go with Creek's killer. probably be interested in the real answer, but it's not one I'm willing to give. And at the moment, I don't even have that great of a patsy to put forward. Bresson's fate, then. It's going to have to be this one, but I don't want to say it. I can tell you what happened at the courtroom today. If something worth knowing had happened, it'd be on the news by now. Oh, sorry, there is a media blackout. That's why she doesn't know. There's currently a blackout on media coverage of today's events. There's always leaks. Finding one will take time. I can give you a first-hand account right now. Let's hear it. Bresson. What a goddamn idiot. Completely useless. He did manage to infiltrate an entire courtroom full of police officers, even knowing he wouldn't make it out alive. And he still failed to hit the easiest shot of his life. But Bresson's just an incompetent addict. The useless idiot is the one who sent him there. Not you, I take it. Oh god, sounds like it moves slow and wise, but they've got a fair share of hot-headed dumbasses too. Impatient, hot-headed dumbasses. Time is money. My turn to ask a question. Money. Is that why you've been going after Makoto? Trying to drum up a king's ransom because you can't go to war without a war chest? Who says we're at war? Who says we're in any rush? Our plans are measured in decades, you little shit. No, time isn't on your side right now. Right now, more than anything, you need money. Says who, you? Says the headlines. Time's running out before you miss the bus on... Nirvana. It's not this. Nirvana. Nirvana. Everyone in the capital knows it'll be legalized before the end of the year. Pah, party drug, dumb money. Yes, dumb money, best kind of money there is, and you can rake it in by the truckload. If you had the starting capital to build a dispensary network beforehand. As things stand, the Grey Wave is going to roll your hard work up in a ball and hand it off gently to the Megs. And the Icaria. You've been losing this game to them for 3 decades straight, but I can see you still haven't gotten used to it. Of course not, who the hell just roll over those upstart bootlicking... That goddamn fox smirking behind his perfume incenses and painted screens and sheets of gold leaf. Should have cut out his arse when I had the chance. I'm acquainted with the hound. Who's the fox? Should we conduct a survey of all the IFG members' back tattoos? The fox, a Kitsune. Goddamn Daisuke Ikari, of course. The family's patriarch. Haven't had the chance to meet him in person. You know, to be a reason an Ikari lawyer didn't stink a cigar smoke. Adane does smoke, despite my repeated warnings about the health hazards. Have you had your olfactory checkup lately? Loss of smell can be the first sign of... I don't stink, that's the takeaway. Now admit it, you want to capture Makoto Ikaria so you can afford to ride Nirvana to legitimacy. I don't want to capture Makoto Ikaria. You know our history? In brief. So what part of that summary makes you think that if I had the chance to end the Ikarian line... I wouldn't take it immediately. Are you speaking for yourself or for the whole old guard? Nah, my turn to ask. Is the hound going to make it? You asking about my legal defense strategy? His injuries. Any chance he's going to keel over from an infection after Creek's pod worked him over? Did Bresson somehow manage to nick him? He is still recovering from the injuries he sustained when captured, but he was not harmed during the incident in the courtroom today. Yeah, Bresson didn't even manage a scratch. Not a scratch, yeah? Did he even get a shot off? A detective on the scene responded before he could. A detective? Yes, why? Not wasting a question on him of all people. Interesting. Speaking of which, the bottle spun back around. Are the Blue Bloods working with the Chopin family to profit off of Proposition 492? Ha! You missed that one, try another. What do you mean? You think Mr. and Mr. Chopin are working hand in hand with us for a little cross-class embezzling? Those rich pricks wouldn't piss on us if we were on fire and the feeling's mutual. But they're backing Proposition 492. If you could buy the land they need before the city knows that it needs it. The Chopin family aren't your collaborators. They're your marks. Bingo, kid gets a prize. Or they were. The plan's worthless now. That whole courtroom heard me explain how Creek had red ink documents on Proposition 492. Whatever blueprints, whatever land the city had in mind, they'll change all of it. Thanks for that, by the way. Don't blame me, your plan was always fragile. It was destined to collapse the moment anyone with more pull than a ticketing officer heard that Blue Bloods had eyes on the real estate. Meaning the Blue Bloods would kill to keep those documents from circulating. Yeah, well, that's just how it goes for Plan Bs. Yeah, Plan B, because Sasuke is Plan A. Plan B? Now answer me this. What did you see on those red ink docs that tipped our hand about Prop 492? Well, it was mentioned in abbreviation, if not in name, P492. That was a pretty big giveaway. You must have more to go on than that. Names, diagrams. I saw Councilman Long's name on there. Ha! Long, that sloppy bastard. Wait, you didn't know what was on those papers? Not exactly. You didn't know where Prop 492 leaked from? What are you saying? It leaked from that brat Creek, obviously. Red ink means it was printed off somewhere you trust, in a place run by people you trusted. And it doesn't sound like you trusted Creek. Are these your questions? Because they're terrible. And pointless. Blondie's already dead. So Chopin wasn't in on the plan? Obviously not. There is no reason he would be. It was an incredibly flimsy thing that you pulled out of nowhere to rile up a crowd to clear a courtroom. As far as I could tell, that was your plan. But no, apparently she was just like, yeah, this is a genuine possibility. What possibilities are left then? Might as well try asking while I have the chance. My client overheard something interesting during his captivity. Talk of the Blue Bloods bringing in a huntsman. Fake. And you don't even know what that means. Your client heard wrong, and you're a fool for believing him without any proof. Sorry, guess he misheard. He must have also misheard that you brought a no mask into the city. Did Sasuke mention that? It's called a bluff, Sarah. Yeah, he must have been delirious. After all, if there'd been a no mask at the crime scene, it would have showed up during the police investigation. Huntsman. Ridiculous. Maybe he's real, maybe he's fake, maybe he's already behind you. Phantoms like they get their power from uncertainty. And if I answered your question at all, that'd be your answer. Schrodinger's box is already open though, and the mask isn't there anymore. If it's not in the hands of the huntsman, then who has it? A dead man. Who just doesn't know it yet. Final round. But what did we still want to ask? Our house, my rules. Who hired ya? Why would she spend her final question on that? Because she's trying to work out exactly how far up this goes. She's trying to work out if, essentially, if Makoto was working on his own, or if she was hired by someone higher up in the Ikaria, who is more likely to bring the hammer down. Ooh, I don't know, I think is the wrong thing to say. Like, I don't think there's any reason to lie here. Like, telling the truth to Sasuke that it was Mirei who was asking really helped earlier. But, like, what are the possible things here? So I don't know is off the table. If I say House Ikaria, as I see it, saying Makoto, the only thing that it might do is it might hurt House Ikaria in general. No, because they're different, aren't they? House Ikaria and the IFG are different. So, I can't remember. It's so confusing. As Sarah said, it's bloody confusing. I'm just going to go with Makoto. Makoto Ikaria, if that wasn't already clear. You, some no-name nobody with no connection to any of the families. The preteen heir looked you up and hired you to defend his hound. Either you're dumber than you look, or that's just less curious than a lobotomite, but either way... You really don't know the answer, do you? No, I don't, which I can freely admit. So why does having it point out to me make me feel like a defeat? Well, no, who hired you is Makoto. You just don't know who tipped him off. So I feel like that was a bait and switch of a question. Come to think of it, I have one last question myself. That ain't the deal. Then it can be rhetorical. What are you going to do? You lost all your heirs during the fall of the leaves. Adone. You're reviled by the international blue bloods for locking your treasure behind GFA you can't crack. Now all of the old guard need transplants and transfusions from the first and second gens just to stay alive. And they won't be glad to keep that up forever. Eventually you, all of you, will die. Will you rest in peace knowing everything you ever managed to build will be laundered at, what, 30%? 40%! 35% just to end up in the hands of some punks you tutored? What a nice young girl you are worrying about your elders. Well, don't worry your pretty little head over dear sweet granny here. Because she's a mean old bitch in a line of work where anyone stupid dies off young. She and hers are gonna be just fine. Don't forget to close your tab before you go. Did you get any useful information from your rhetorical question, Adone? The question irritated her, but it didn't make her despair. I may have misread this. So what that says is that they don't think the little lord is dead. That was the point of the rhetorical question. Because if she had despaired, then they would know, the old guard would know the little lord was dead and they had no options. But with that, it is pretty much confirmed that Tarek Chopin is not the little lord. For which, by the way, there was absolutely no proof at all. So what this does imply is, with the way she said that, implies they do know who the little lord is, and that they seem to have a plan. That said, they still sent someone... Hang on. Alright, one interesting thing, because I'm just quickly going through the backlog. Not wasting a question on ... him, of all people. Referring to London, presumably. Because he was the only detective we know of in the room at the time, because Rogers is a patrol officer, so he definitely isn't a detective. So London is known as him of all people to a blue blood, old blood. Damn. Yeah, the bit that I want to look at is just above this. Okay, I was trying to find what exactly she said about the shooting in the courtroom, because I don't think he was sent there to kill Sasuke. Because the way she reacted, you see, the way she said, she and hers are going to be just fine, implied, I mean, maybe it was just like bluster, but it implied they know who the little lord is. But if they know who the little lord is, they would not have sent someone to kill Sasuke, because I'm fairly sure it's him. So, who would they have sent someone to kill? Rogers? I reckon they were there to kill Rogers. Right! Yes, it has to have been Rogers. Because London pointed out that guy had been in the gallery all day and hadn't taken his shot. And then eventually, after Rogers shows up, that's when they go to take the shot. He was there to kill Rogers, not Sasuke. Interesting. Very interesting. But why? Why would they want to kill Rogers? Because he witnessed the huntsman, maybe? The huntsman would probably report back that he was witnessed, and then they'd want to kill Rogers so that he can't tell anyone, maybe? Interesting. That lines up so well. I may have misread this. The old guard have a way forward. Proposition 492 is no longer an option. Leaving them with plan A. The little lord, but Tarek Chopin is dead. Yeah, he is. Right, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll be back to see Makoto later. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of my ever-evolving theories. I love making these theories. It's so fun. Right, thank you very much, and I will catch you later.